What do you do when the path that you're on feels like it's not leading anywhere? In this video, I'm going to tell you 3 realizations that help me stop overthinking my life path. But let me start with a story. Before I joined the military at a young age of 17, I turned 18 my first 6 days into boot camp. Don't worry, I didn't tell the drill instructor. But my overall purpose or goal was to be the best that I can be in the military. It wasn't necessarily just serving the American public or working for the flag, right? I just like the idea of being in service because I enjoyed the structure. I enjoyed the discipline of it. I enjoyed the hard work you get from the Marine Corps and what makes the Marine Corps itself. The personal brand of the Marine Corps essentially is what attracted me, right? As many of us who join. Now, as you go more into the military, you become more comfortable with the way things are. Because as you progress throughout the ranks and billets, and you progress and you get used to how everything gives and it flows, sometimes you get to a point where you're just kind of stagnant. And some of the things below is what I'm going to tell you that I did to kind of help me overcome that stagnation and help me eventually find my life purpose again of being in the military, right? I think it's a difference between life purpose and the work purpose. So I'm going to try my best to tie those two together, but for this video, I'm going to focus more on the work purpose, right? But let's get into it. That first one is let go of the idea that purpose is permanent. Purpose itself evolves. Stop expecting purpose to be a single answer. And that single answer to last forever. To give you an example, right? As I did more, as I progressed more throughout the military, I started to kind of do things outside my comfort zone because it gets to the point where, for me at least, I didn't want to have an easy life per se. I want to do things different. I want to do things hard. And that first opportunity for me came up when I had the opportunity to go to the combat marksmanship course when I was in Okinawa, Japan, back in 2016. Now in that course, it was hard. It wasn't really hard. I just couldn't shoot. So a combat marksmanship course essentially where you learn how to shoot the pistol and rifle and teach other shooters how to shoot, right? And I failed, right? Because I couldn't shoot pistol. And it was all because I didn't want to learn how to go through the process. And that failure kind of hurt me a lot because I went back to my unit and they asked me, Prim, why are you back so early for? And I said, because I failed. And then, I don't know, those words just suck to say, right? The second time I tried was when I went back again in 2019 when I was stationed in Camp Lejeune, right? And young Corporal me, or Sergeant, I forgot. But I went there and I passed the second time with expert flying colors, right? And I went back and I passed. Now, I was with that for like another year or two, but then I felt that feeling of me being comfortable again come back up. So I said, what else can I do to challenge myself, right? So the next thing I did, whenever I got moved over to the air station, right, because they needed our assistance over there, I did the martial arts instructor course. If you don't know what martial arts instructor course is in Marine Corps, it's hard. I'm just gonna say that. It's very tough. And I failed that one, which is, yeah. And they asked me, and I went back and they said, Prim, why are you back so early? Oh, because I failed, right? So even though I failed, and I passed one, I failed one, I passed, and I failed one again. That kind of gave me a purpose, right? That I want to go back eventually. I want to go back and pass that course or something because I can't really live with failure personally, right? Some things I'm okay with, but I can't really live with failure. So I went back again when I was on drill instructor duty on Paris Island, right? and I passed. Luckily to me, right? I passed. I'm not sure how fast I was. I don't think I'm really that fast in general, but hey, I passed, and my heart got happy because I passed the two things I felt at for the first time ever in the Marine Corps: become a combat marksmanship instructor, combat marksmanship coach. Sorry, my word flow, and a big map instructor. So those things right there, as I kind of did more and I moved outside my comfort zone, I tried to do more things. My purpose evolved over time. My main goal overall is just simply to help people. All right, that's an easy purpose you can do, but that purpose can ebb and it can flow. It can go away and it can come back again whenever life hits. Right, but in order for you to kind of find your purpose, if you forget it sometimes, try to do things outside of your comfort zone, and it may revigorate into you that feeling that you had before that went away. Right. The second one is follow interest over identity. Chasing who you should be kills that momentum you have within yourself. Follow what sparks your action. Like I said before, right? I thought who I should be was somebody who really just doesn't really do much in mentoring. But then I realized that I can't beat that feeling of comfort within my chest that I need to do more, that I need to do better. So that's why I did things. And I failed. I committed to action. And then once I passed them, my purpose went to see what's next that I can do. Right? What's more challenging? And then my purpose went from being just kind of being in the military to see what I can do to challenge myself. Right? That persona that people have of how they should be like, how they should act like. Just delete that off the top of your head. Right? Be who you want to be. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. Don't try to fake this personality that you don't have. Right? If you try to be like somebody who you don't like, who talks down your goals, who says you suck, who every time you bring them an idea, they don't like you, and you still want to be like them, but they don't have the position that you want, don't do that. Don't listen to them. Be better than them. All right. And the last one is replace what's my purpose with where do I feel pulled right now. Purpose isn't found. It's built one decision at a time. Now, that can go for many things that you do throughout life, right? For me, it applied to the military. Overall, I was pulled to do many different things, right? The first thing I was supposed to do was to join the military. Pretty simple, because I wanted to do that action. The second thing I did once I joined the military was to complete boot camp, which is simple because you kind of that was something if you don't want to go back home and say I failed boot camp or I quit boot camp, even if you want to do it yourself, then you will pass. And once you get into the military, I'm not saying it's pretty simple and easy, but it can be for some. And you just want to kind of stagnate away. And that's where you need to change that mindset, that persona inside your mind to be somebody who, instead of just kind of rotting away throughout your enlistment, try to be somebody who tries to do more. Somebody who tries to be different and not like everyone else, right? And for me, like I said before, I was pulled to be a comeback marksmanship coach. I went to that course. Even though I failed, I was still interested in the job itself. So I went back again in 2019, in which I passed. Because that time, while I did differently, I actually took the time to go through the actual simulators that they have to actually learn how to shoot pistol. I can shoot rifle pretty well. Pistol was my arch nemesis. So I went back and learned how to shoot pistol, not pass with expert at that time. Now, a year after that was when I went to martial instructor course. I was pulled to go to that course because I liked the idea of being a martial instructor, and I failed, unfortunately, because I didn't do what I needed to do because of my performance, right? And I went back again in 2022 on Paris Island, and I passed when I was on Paris Island. to be quite frank with you, the reason why I failed when I was on the air station, right, was because I couldn't pass the PFT. That track, and I was tired, and that track was like real long. I don't know what it was. If you went to New River, that PFT trail was pretty long, and it got me very good a couple of times. And I couldn't pass the minimum. I got max pull up, max plank, but my run time just wasn't there. So fast forward to Paris Island, I completed Paris Island, and it wasn't really that hard, really, to be honest. So at least the PFT was. Everything else was tough. Getting beat up, getting jumped in fights, good times, good training, as they say. But I was pulled to do that. So let me ask you a question. What are you being pulled at right now that makes you want to do something? Are you stuck with being stagnant? Are you stuck with growing? Don't try to be like the rest of society, the rest of the population, and just kind of go with the flow, right? Be somebody different. Take the time to do something that you always want to do, or do something that you're even afraid of, because you never know. You never know. Once you pass, you're that person now. You overcame that failure, that feeling of failure, that feeling of thinking you're gonna fail, and you overcame it and you pass. Let that be you.